Good morning, Pride League. I guess we're closer toward the afternoon. I kind of forgot that it's Thursday. Yeah, my wife switched work days, so it's kind of fucked me up. It's amazing how someone else's activities can switch up my routine. We're not here to talk about that, right? We've got week 14, baby. We got the last week of the regular season where seven lucky teams will go on to postseason activity. Unfortunately, disabled vigilantes will not be able to join you. There's a few of us, but I mean, let's before we get into the nitty gritty of what the playoffs are going to be like. Let's talk about last week. I had a pretty decent week when it comes to picking picks, right? First up, we had disabled vigilantes going up against classy strippers, right? And your boy turned out to have a little bit of upset in him. I feel pretty good that I was able to muddy up the power rankings, muddy up the standings, and definitely give a little clarity to those that could and could not be in the playoffs with my victory over classy strippers. There are some of you that benefited more than others, but I was the way them crookies crumble, baby. And, so I get that one right in my predictions, right? So we got Dunder Mifflin going up against the boss. And I picked the boss to win that, giving Dunder Mifflin another loss and bringing the boss a little bit above 500. You know what I mean? So, I kind of called that one. I feel pretty proud about it. We had Dynasty Sage going up against Wubba Lubba Dub Dub. And I picked Wubba Lubba Dub Dub to win that just so that when I face him this week, the bitter sting of defeat will be that much more excruciating. Pick that one correctly. We've got Stack and Yards going up against those Hollywood Cole brothers. And I really had Stack initially. I'm glad I switched it to Hollywood. Hollywood's team looks like it may be the front runner heading into the playoffs. At least we'll figure that out after week 14. You know what I mean? Then we had Unfuckwittable going up against Griffey Case. Kind of easy. You got Unfuckwittable playoff team going up against Griffey Cakes. Bottom of the barrel. Easy pick. Got that one right. My one game that I got wrong happened to be from West Coast Giants going up against Bull City, and it was close. No, it wasn't. West Coast Giants mopped the floor with Bull City. I just wrong, just absolutely wrong in that assumption. And West Coast remains relevant in playoff contention as Bull City kind of meanders. I mean, is he mathematically out of it? Probably not. I mean, but it would take an enormous amount of scoring if those teams become 7-7, the tiebreakers will ultimately go down to points for, and I don't think Bull City has a long way to go. But if some of those teams fall to 500, it's going to. I mean, he's going to have one hell of a week. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. And then we've got the final game, Agent Smith going up against Redacted ADP 1897. I picked Agent Smith in that one simply because Agent Smith has one of those teams that should be playoff ready. And, we came in and dominated. So as for my picks, I was 5-1 for the week, making me a whopping 45-45. Woo! We're at 500, boys. It's taken 13 long weeks, but we reached 500, and I couldn't be prouder. Couldn't be prouder. So, with that being said, we're gonna move on. And who was the fantasy dud? It's Griffey Cakes, right? Griffey Cakes is going to hold this mantle, front runner for dud of the year. And we got West Coast Giants being our antithesis of the dud, our fantasy stud. We've got those West Coast Giants doing wonders. Proved me wrong. Had a wonderful, wonderful week to maintain playoff relevancy. Good on you, kid. So 45-45. We got 7 more picks. I just got to get 4 of them right to be above 500 for the year. That's it. And this isn't easy. If I make it look easy, but these picks, the room for error is so weird because you got defenders scoring 25, 30 points plus sometimes. And you're like, holy shit. You don't think the offense would figure out double team that fucker? Don't throw to that fucker. Try not to, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's ludicrous. Like how some of these defenders look like Tyreek Hill every other week. It's just so weird. But the name of the game is adaptation. And, speaking from one at the bottom, you got to figure out how to adapt. And that's the goal. Figure out how to adapt and make the most consistent on both sides of the ball. That's the name of the game for the future of disabled vigilantes. But we're not here for that. It's playoffs, right? Disabled vigilantes ain't in the playoffs. Why are we talking about them? Let's talk about something relevant, shall we? And that's the power rankings. What we got up on screen is week 13 to week 14. So what do we got? We got those Hollywood Cole brothers at number 1. This is, we get the power rankings in. Might be a little indicative of how I feel week 14 may pass out. I still got Classy Strippers not going too far at number 2. And this is just, even after suffering that loss to disabled vigilantes, just ran into a little buzzsaw. His team didn't perform as adequately as he'd like. And, I had defenders scoring in the 20. What, disabled vigilantes had a defense show up? Get the fuck out of here. At 3, we got Agent Smith. At 4, we got the boss. At 5, Dunder Mifflin. At 6, Unfuckwittable. And at 7, Stacking Yards. That is who I believe will be in the playoffs. That top 7, it probably shouldn't differ as much. But that's what I have in the order. At number 8, just in. It'll come down to tiebreakers for me. West Coast Giants at 8. Wubba Lubba Dub Dub, who's going to get a little spanking this week from disabled vigilantes. Coming in at 9. Bull City at 10. Dynasty Sage at 11. Redacted ADP 1897 at 12. Disabled Vigilantes at 13. And Griffey Cakes rounding at the bottom. I know a few of you ain't gonna like that, but this is how I see it. I plan to go 7 for 7. This is my last week in the regular season to go 7 for 7. And it's a doozy. It's probably, there's some upsets in here. It's not like I just picked the teams that are, riding hot or have the best chances. I feel there's some matchups in here that are going to cause some upsets. Why not take a gander at the predictions? Let's see what we got. We've got Wubba Lubba Dub Dub going up against Disabled Vigilantes. Wubba Lubba Dub Dub at 7-6. Very much a playoff hopeful. He just has to win this game and hope certain people lose, certain people win. I don't want to get into the weeds of what it would take because it is truly to me, it's not gonna come down to, it's gonna be so tight for the 8-6 teams. It's gonna be like convoluted, and it's gonna come down to points for. The only time it should come down to heads up is when it's just, it's clear cut. If somebody has beaten both of those teams, they should get the advantage. But I think it'll just be like, this team beat this team, that team beat this team beat that team, though. And it'll just be like, fuck it, come down to points for. I don't think Wubba Lubba Dub Dub's beating Disabled Vigilantes anyway. He'll be at 7-7. And there is some possibility that a 7-7 team could go to the play. I don't foresee this happening. But it is a possibility. Even if Wubba Lubba Dub Dub should lose, because I think his points for is high enough. If it came down to 7-7 teams, it could be 2, 3, or even 4 teams that go to 7-7, right? Fall to 7-7 essentially, maybe 3. But I think the victories, the head to head is so convoluted. Even in that instance, it'll come down to points for. Could be wrong, could be right. Do your homework. I don't know. Maybe. But anyway, Wubba Lubba Dub Dub has a chance, but according to my power rankings, motherfucker gonna be assed out in the cold. It gets a little chilly in December. Maybe not in California, but it gets a little chilly in other parts of the world. You're gonna be asked out in the cold, my boy. Next we have Agent Smith going up against West Coast Giants. And if I do recall correctly, Agent Smith, I mean, we're also in rival week. Week 14 is crazy. Wubba Dub Dub beat me in week 1. This is definitely payback for that. You know, I'm finna walk in that courtroom, classy strippers, hat low, eyes high, and we gonna look and we gonna see who gets payback this week. I'm getting my revenge against Wubba Dub Dub, and I feel West Coast Giants may get his revenge against Agent Smith. This is gonna play a key factor. I think West Coast gets the win, but will be outside looking in as far as the power rankings are concerned, as you can see down there. I think he gets the dub. I don't believe it'll be enough to supplant or make sure that he gets into the playoffs, which will be fucking terrible. But I think because Agent Smith will be so high on points for, even at 8-6, West Coast Giants could be looking at postseason despair. That's just my opinion. I got West Coast winning the game, but I don't see there being a way that he could probably get his points for high enough to get into the playoffs. Next, we got Bull City going up against Stacking Yards. And Bull City, that was a good run at the end, man. I just think Stack's going to be too domineering for you. He will get the dub, moving on to 9-5. Well, I mean, and even at 9-5, I put Stack at 7. Maybe this is a misclick by me. He probably should be higher on my power rankings list, but for some reason, I don't know. Stack, he should be higher. Like this is false. This is right. Everything. Let's just go ahead. I got Stack at 7, but I'm calling an audible. I don't want to fuck and change anything on my computer for fear that it just shits itself. Let's just say Stack won't be at 7. I'm gonna put Stack at 2, and everybody else moves down 1. So Hollywood Cole Brothers at 1, Stacking Yards at 2. I don't know how I fucking made this mistake. I don't know. My brain's going loopy. Stack should be number 2, and I'm gonna make these changes like now. So I mean, just understand. I think Stack is 2 at 9-5. Classy Strippers moves to 3. Agent Smith 4. You get it. You get how it goes, right? But I mean, the playoffs should still be the same, even with Unfuckwittable at 7. All right, so that's still the playoff picture. Moving on, Stack wins. I don't know how I missed him at 9-5, not being number 2 in the power rankings. I'm an idiot. Stack, forgive me. And next we got Griffey Case going up against Redacted ADP. Still, this battle means nothing. It's just window dressing. ADP should get this victory, moving on to 6-8. Still, no chance of the playoffs, buddy. But wins are wins, losses are losses, and you get to move on. You beat Griffey Cakes earlier. Let's not let him get that revenge. Go ahead and sweep Cakes. Sweep the champion. That's a victory in itself, nah? Yeah, it is. Next, we got Hollywood Cole Brothers going up against Classy Strippers. Wanted to pick Classy Strippers, but as you can see in my power rankings, I have chosen Hollywood Cole Brothers to go on to 9-5 and Classy Strippers to fall to 8-6. With that being said, I don't think Classy Strippers falls too far. I think this will be a high-scoring game, even with the Week 14. But I think it'll be tough. This will be an interesting matchup. Easily could go Classy Strippers' way, but I'm gonna pick Hollywood Cole Brothers with the dynamic players he's got on both offense and defense. We're gonna ride with that. Enough said, right? Hollywood Cole Brothers did get the first victory Week 1, and I think he'll take the sweep of Classy Strippers, moving it forward. We've got the Boss going up against Dynasty Sage, and the Boss is no stranger to whooping the leader of the Leaf Village down. So I got the Boss winning this one again, moving on to 8-6, and Sage hopes will diminish, moving to 6-8. Not a lot of hope, even if you go 7-7. I don't think the Boss will allow himself to put himself at risk going 7-7, giving this win to the boss. Next, we got Unfuckwittable going up against Dunder Mifflin, and I'm gonna go with the upset. Dunder Mifflin gets this win, moving on to 8-6. This is a bold one. Dunder Mifflin, even though it says 5, he'll be 6 after getting the win over Unfuckwittable. That's just the way I see it. I think Unfuckwittable will be 8-6, but we'll have enough points to garner a playoff spot, even in the loss. And that, my friends, I'm not gonna go through all the scenarios that 7-7 teams or the 8-6 teams have to do to meet and match. It's just convoluted. It'll come down to points for, in my opinion. But better luck next year to anybody that doesn't make the playoffs this year. It's not the end of the world. It's just year 2 of the league. If you get to year 4 and you haven't made the playoffs, and I'm included in this warning, maybe, just maybe, if you go all the way past year 4 and you don't see the playoffs at all, it could be a sign. I don't want to see anybody leave. But, geez, could you imagine all the people that haven't made the playoffs? And I'm going to be in this list. Maybe I'm not cut out to maybe everybody else is too fantasy strong. Fuck a bunch of that. I don't believe that shit. I've got to make sure that I am playoff bound next year. I do not want to go into year 4 and be like, I haven't even made the playoffs in my own fucking league. But it's the competition is strong. It's palpable. I appreciate this league so much. So in closing, good luck to all you motherfuckers that are going to the playoffs. I will be sour, but I will be watching intently. It's going to be curious to see how this pans out. Fuck, man. Good luck to everybody except Wubba Lubba Dub Dub. You're coming to the backside with me, my boy. I don't know. That's pretty much all I got. Best of luck. Rivalry game. You'll have a new rival next year, more than likely. Some of you might actually have the similar rival depending on situation. Like I could easily, I don't know. We'll cross those bridges when we get there. Best of luck. Peace.